felt like I needed to do 8 hours of school with my kids every day while managing my typical 8 to 10 hour day at work. And the fact of the matter is, we just can't do it all. And we sometimes forget that our kids are not sitting at a desk learning 8 hours out of the day. They do have transitions, they have other subjects that they cover, they have time outside, and they really only do schoolwork a fraction of the time that they're there. Hi, I'm Mary Beth from the AtWhatCostBlog.com, and when we got the news that our children would be home for several weeks while I was working, learning from home, I was nervous. I typically talk about living a more simplified lifestyle, but I also have a background in early childhood education and I work full-time in the ECE industry. So I do know a thing or two about educating children, but my own children from home for weeks at a time while I'm working, a little overwhelmed. I'd like to talk with you today about some activities that you can do with kids of any ages and that are somewhat open-ended. You can use them in a variety of different ways. Let me tell you a few ways that we're going to use these items in our house over the next week. So I have 3 boys, 8, 7, and 5. Now our 2 older boys have special needs, and developmentally they're right around the same age as our 5-year-old. So they're all kind of learning the same things. But you can vary this activity based on the ages of your child. So let's look first at this cube. This is a soft-sided dice. So I have all of these different colors, and so the game in and of itself could be to roll this and then go find something in the house that's this color and bring it to me. That could be for little bitty kids that are walking, that are just learning colors, or you could go up into the older ages and make the scavenger hunt a little bit more challenging. Now I'm going to pair this with my counting bears and these activity dice that I also found at the Target dollar spot. So you can see that the bears that I have here, I have every color on my dice except for purple. So when my kids roll a color, I'm going to have them do a couple of things. They can sort the bears into these cups. They can gather up a bear. They could each pick a color and grab a bear when they roll their color and then see who gets all of the bears in their color first. They can roll a purple and be able to roll these activity dice, which these are really fun too, and you could make these at home. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for our blog. I have a template that you can print and cut out and draw your own. Now, there's no extra points for creativity on this. Your drawing ability does not matter. You can literally put anything you want on these. And nobody will even know you're home with your kids. This is the beauty of social distancing. You can just draw stick figure cats and no one will know the difference. So this die is the Cat in the Hat Says, and then they would roll a number, so do 1, frog jump. So when they land on the purple, they'll roll these dice and be able to do a little bit of an activity. So it'll sort of break up the more cognitive learning with some physical activity as well. And I know for my children, they love to be able to get up and move around when they're learning these kinds of concepts. Now let's talk about alternatives. So let's say that you don't have counting bears, which I would not be surprised if you don't have counting bears, unless you work in the early childhood ed industry, in which case, why would you not have counting bears? These things are awesome. I'm kidding, seriously. You could use anything for these. If your kids have Legos, grab a bunch of Legos. You could use a variety of paper clips, beans, pretzels, anything, assign it a number, and then use just a regular game dice that you would have and assign each one of those things a number. So maybe the number 1 is paper clips, the number 2 is goldfish crackers. The possibilities are really endless. You could also have older children graph the outcomes. So I have 3 kids. I may have our oldest child keep track of how many green bears there are, how many blue bears there are, and maybe they can graph those items. You could have much older children that could create some type of experiment and a hypothesis about which colors they think are rolled more often, and they could test their theory by doing a series of rolls and determining which colors came up. So the possibilities with this truly are endless, and each one of these activities can be used in and of itself. So our Dr. Seuss dice here, this could just be an activity. We could make it fun and go outside. We could change it up and say that they have to do, they have to spin in a circle 3 times and then we'll read a book, or maybe they do hip bumps on the way to the kitchen. They do frog jumps as they are getting their snack ready. So you can incorporate these things in a number of different ways that can be fun and exciting. Now I want to talk a little bit about mindset. So if you are in your late 30s, early 40s, you can totally do this. You survived 8th grade dances, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Vanilla Ice, and the Oregon Trail. You can totally do this. I know that you can. I can do this. You can do this. We're going to get through this time together. There's so many activities out there. There's so much that we can learn from each other. This is an opportunity, even though we are a little bit isolated from each other, we can still connect through this great platform and be able to share ideas to get through this time together. I also want to encourage you to set the bar a little low. I know that's probably counterintuitive. We tend to have this natural inclination to want to do it all. We're working full time, our kids are home, we want to devote time to them, and if we're not, it can be easy to feel a little guilty. And it can also be easy to think about their school day as being a typical 7 or 8 hour day and think to ourselves that just like we are sitting at our desks all day working, they're probably doing the same thing. They're not. They're not, friend. They're not sitting at a desk doing actual schoolwork 8 hours out of the day. If you have elementary school children, they're in specials, they have transitions from one classroom to another. They're not spending 8 hours out of the day sitting at a desk doing worksheets. That's just not the reality of what they do during the day, which means the expectation for you is also not to sit at a desk 8 hours out of the day with your kids and make them do worksheets. A lot of learning can happen just in your living room, at your kitchen table, in the kitchen. Maybe your math for the day is making brownies. A lot of household items that you already have can be used to accomplish the same goals. So don't get too overwhelmed with the expectation that now you have to be the homeschool mom and the work mom. We can't be both of those things at the same time. So take it easy on yourself, give yourself a little grace this week, and remember that God made you uniquely for your children. You can meet their needs better than anyone else. Don't feel like you have to be somebody that you're not. You just have to be their parent, and you can totally do that. Stick around this week and see what kinds of other activities that we have. I would love to hear the kinds of things that you're up to in your home in the comments section. Again, fostering this community in a time when we really do need fellowship with each other is more important than ever. So don't be an island. Just comment, like this video, subscribe so you can see the rest of them, and let's all get through this together. And don't forget to wash those hands.